Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Petrie, and I am the head of new business of Founder Tribes, a mobile app that provides founders across the world with access to the feedback, networks, and capital that they need to start up and scale up their businesses, all from their mobile phones. We exist to empower entrepreneurs of all races, genders, geographies, religions, sexual orientations, etc., because we understand that while talent is distributed equally, opportunity is not. And we are here to change that, which is why I am so excited to welcome everyone to our second Tribal Pitches event, which will feature 5 very talented founders that you will meet shortly. Our 5 finalists will pitch to our esteemed panel of judges, including Rustin Brown from Manatt, Phelps, and Phillips, LLP, Bindi Karia from Draper, Esprit, Turck from FirstMark Capital, Srin Madipalli from Atomico Angel, and Wong, COO of Reddit. Additionally, I would like to thank our partner, Supreme Factory, for helping to make this event possible. This pitch competition will be moderated by Fredua Acosa, co-founder of Other Tech, the first podcast about diversity and inclusion in tech and venture capital. But before I pass it over to Fredua, I'd like to give you a peek of our Founder Tribes app, which you can already find on the app stores.
We live in a world where more than 500 million entrepreneurs will never get access to the feedback, networks, and capital they may need to realize their dreams. Talent is distributed evenly, but opportunity isn't. Founder Tribes exist to change that. Our mobile app can be accessed by anyone, anywhere in the world. It all begins with a founder submitting a pitch that will be evaluated by a community of entrepreneurs and investors relevant to their vertical and stage. Through the app, each founder gets qualified feedback about which areas of their business might need improvement, in the form of how many people swiped right or left, and in the form of ratings on each key element of a business plan based on Sequoia Capital's evaluation system. Each founder is then offered a personalized selection of video tips from world-class founders who explain how they've overcome similar challenges. Our professors are truly world-class and include such names as Stacey Abrams, Steve Blank, Wong, and Anne Wojcicki. If a founder wants more support, she can access our curated database of coaches and mentors and set up one-to-ones, all via the app. Each founder iterates her pitch until the community of entrepreneurs and investors say that she is investment worthy. We'll then introduce her to relevant funders appropriate to her stage and vertical, including venture capital, angels, and alternative finance. We already have paying customers, including Capital Enterprise. And our investors include American unicorn founders such as Sandra Daniels, founder of Thumbtack, which has raised $436 million from Sequoia Capital and Google, Zach Bookman, founder of OpenGov, who has raised $140 million from investors including Andreessen Horowitz, executives like Jamie Broderick, who is the former head of wealth management at UBS UK and Jersey, and Dana Wagner, who is currently the chief legal officer at Impossible Foods, which has raised $1.4 billion from investors like Serena Williams, Katy Perry, and Jay-Z. We are leveling the playing field for entrepreneurial talent. So download the app, accelerate your business, and empower yourself.
And now, without further ado, I will hand it over to Fredua to introduce our amazing panel of judges.
Thanks, Chris. Welcome to Founder Tribe's second Tribal Pitches competition. Each of the 5 each of the 5 finalists will have 3 minutes to pitch and 5 minutes for questions to judges. You're permitted to use PowerPoint decks. And we're thrilled to have you here today, as well as the listeners and our esteemed judges. I would love the judges to quickly go around and each introduce themselves, starting with Srin Madipalli of Atomico.
Hi everyone, my name is Srin. Was a former founder of a travel business that was acquired by Airbnb and left Airbnb last year. I'm now an active angel investor on a personal account, but also with the Atomico Angel Program.
Rustin. Rustin, I think you're currently on mute.
Sorry, I thought I hit it. Hi, I'm Rustin Brown. I am a partner at Manatt, Phelps, and Phillips, focusing on emerging companies and venture capital. And I'm also an angel investor as well, and happy to be part of this panel. Brilliant.
Bindi.
Hi, everyone. Bindi, Karia. I'm a venture partner at Draper Esprit here in London, UK. I also invest and spend time and sit on boards of a fair number of startups.
Jen.
Jen Wong, CEO of Reddit.
And Mark.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Turck. I'm a partner at FirstMark. FirstMark is a New York-based venture firm, investors in all sorts of internet and software businesses, including Pinterest, Shopify, Airbnb, Discord, and so on and so forth. I'm glad to be here today. Thanks.
Brilliant. So as I mentioned, each of the 5 finalists will have 3 minutes to pitch and 5 minutes for questions with the judges. And you are permitted to use PowerPoint decks. So I'd like to invite our first contestant, Pierce Jarrett, for Guan.
Hi there. Let me just share my screen. Fantastic. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. Hi, my name's Pierce, and I'm here to talk to you about Guan. These are sweaty faces. And in lockdown last year, we did a 60-day online fitness challenge. And when we interviewed the participants afterwards, they all told us the same things. First of all, tracking your progress is hard. And knowing when and getting feedback on form is often manual or requires another person. And the solutions that currently exist within the market tend to be quite expensive. Now, when you factor into this the fact that 47% of gym users are not going to go back to the gym, you can start to see there's a bit of an opportunity here. So we created Guan, an AI-powered personal trainer. And this is how it works. In fact, so at Guan, we believe that exercise should be rewarding from the start and that you shouldn't need fancy equipment and you shouldn't need a pen and paper, just elite sporting analytics from the start for every type of body. And this is how it works. You take your phone, you put it in the corner of the room, you do your workout, and then you get all your analytics all in one place. And behind the curtain, or behind the lens, so to speak, it uses computer vision to generate a signal over time. And then using that signal, we can then do funky things like this. So this is exercise classification. So here we see this is a open chest jack, and that's a jack uppercut. And even though they look quite similar, we're able to tell they're a bit different. We can then do things like repetition counting, fatigue detection, and then be in a position where we can say, hey, Laura, if you straighten your knee and put your hand on the mat, you'll be able to increase the stretch. Now, if we look at the competitive landscape and compare affordability to smartness, you'll see that we're here on the top right-hand side. And the reason for that is that we don't require the user to purchase any additional hardware in order to get started. And the reason why that's important is because 74% of fitness app users earn below 40K. Now, if we start to look at the market as a whole, we can see that online fitness market is worth $6 billion USD, and it is growing 33% year on year. And we project that in year 5, we'll be able to take home a revenue of £342 million just in year 5, just from our B2C side alone. And the way that we'll be able to do that is by charging our user base a £15 per month subscription fee, which would then lead to that revenue. Now, on the other side of the hill, we then have our Powered by One. So whether you have a physical gym like Gymbox or Third Space, or you have an app like Nike, if you were to partner with them and get just 10% of their revenue of their user base, well then, if we charge them a £7.50 license fee, we'll then get a yearly revenue of £1.4 million per year. Now, in terms of the team, my name is Piers Jarrett. I'm the founder and CEO. My background is in machine learning, as a machine learning engineer. And then we also then have Labney Paul, who's in charge of research and strategy, and has a background in optimizing user experiences to be in line with psychological principles. We're funded by Innovate UK. We won the Young Innovators Award for this year, and we're also funded by Microsoft as well. And we're fundraising. We're looking to raise 500K so we can make some critical hires so we can bring our product to market. So yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Brilliant. I'd love to go to the judges for any questions. Bindi?
Yeah, first of all, thanks, Piers. A really succinct pitch, so well done on that. I just wanted to understand a bit more deeply on the traction. So you've spelled out very clearly about your B2C strategy and pricing and your B2B strategy, but where are you landed in each of them? Like, how many customers do you have B2C? And then what kind of partnerships have you already landed? Because I saw some great names for your potential partners. So where are you at as a business?
So at the moment, we're just starting out. We are pre-launch at the moment, but everyone that we've spoken to, we've got brilliant feedback from them. So when we pitched to Innovate UK, we're one of the few in the nation who was able to secure that. Microsoft have not only given us funding, but then also their expertise as well. And on top of that, they're also planning on allowing us to become a partner as well, so that we can then, as a scheme for them to get customers on. So we're quite confident as to the direction that it's going in. In terms of engagement with customers, within our research stages, within lockdown 1 and 2, we interviewed a lot of the participants, and they said that they really enjoyed the experience, but they needed obviously for it to be developed a bit more, which is what we're doing now.
On the machine learning front, how do you plan on getting the data that you need to be able to train the models?
So a lot of the models are trained already, which is great. We've put a lot of effort in the background before we end up going to market to make sure that what we've got works, otherwise it will get rejected. On top of that though, is when the users use the app, in essence, we collect data. So we're able to continuously optimize and get stronger as time goes on, which I think is really cool.
And a little bit related to the same question, do you, and I'm sorry if I didn't catch that, do you offer training programs? So I understand the part where you can recognize what people do, but precisely to get people to start using the product and contribute data to the system, do you have like simple training programs that you follow as a user?
Yeah, exactly. So at the moment we're using a training program from a partner, and what happens is that the user then works out in front of the screen, and then they then follow the workout that's on there. But we're looking for more. We're actively looking for people to partner with. But again, because we're at the beginning of our journey, we haven't got as many as we would like. But again, that's because we're at the beginning. I'm quite certain that we'll be able to get them.
And how are you protecting against, the fact that you guys are just getting started, and there, as you mentioned, a number of people in this space that have the teams already and could maybe quickly copy what you're doing? So how do you prevent against people copying it and going down market to ahead of you since they already have funding?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say a big part of that would be our secrets. We've developed a load of models ourselves. So with the program we did last year, the two of those, a large part of that was collecting data. So you would have to go through the rigmarole of collecting all of that data to then train the models to get to a position where you're able to then do the rep counting. So that effort, I suppose, is a barrier to entry. Then also the expertise for AI. There are some big firms, obviously, like Google, that would be able to do it. But in terms of defensibility, if a new partner was to come up, it's not, I wouldn't see it as that likely.
How do you continually prove value to the user? Because it's not based on biometrics. Like, in fitness, feedback about calories burned, etc. This is about form and in theory that benefit, but it wasn't clear to me how you give that feedback to continually create the perception of value to drive the subscription.
Yeah, so what will happen is that the user will sign on, they'll get casted to the screen in front of them, and then they'll then do their workout. With that, in a live way, they will get the ranking on the form and also a count of how well they're then doing. And that will then compare back to what they did, say, like last week. So they'll be like, you've done 5 more press-ups than you did last week, well done. On top of that, we are integrating with other APIs as well. So if you do have a Fitbit, you will be able to then pull in your heart rate and calories, etc., etc. On top of that, on the other side of the hill, we then have like the psychology piece behind it as well. So we're working to use the data to then encourage people to come back to the platform, so that it reduces the drop-off rate. In essence, what we're trying to do is get people fitter, and if we get people fitter,
right,
experience, they'll come back.
Based on current users, is there any reason? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Jen. This is all we have time for Pierce. Thank you so much, and seeing you again soon.
Cool, fantastic. Thank you very much.
So our next guest is KCG for Simu. I think we're still waiting for Casey. Okay, I think Casey is experiencing a few technical difficulties, so we'll come back to her. Our next guest is Jacob Kaysen from Manatt.
Hey guys, sorry, the studio was full, I couldn't get in. Assume you could hear me. Let me just connect up share my screen quickly. This is the second time I've done a pitch and I've had to jump in actually. So, okay, 1 second. So hey, I hope everyone can see my screen now. So I'm Jake and I'm the founder of Manatt, and we're building the business platform for the creator economy. I'm just making sure I've actually opened up the wrong one. Hey, I hope you can see the screen now. So yeah, my name's Jake and I'm the founder of Manatt. It's a business and financial platform for the creator economy. And what that actually means is we're building financial infrastructure for this user set, which are digital creators, which are rapidly growing. We've quickly signed up several thousand users. It's really not been a problem. That's my background. And we're focusing on what's immediately important to all of these users, and that's getting paid instantly, protecting their income, and actually gaining financial inclusion in the long run by enhanced risk profiling. So what we're actually doing immediately is we're deploying capital in their future revenue, which is our first product to help with their cash flow. And this is a modernized version of invoice factoring, which will later focus on platform-driven revenue. So we've surveyed 4,000 creators to date. These are people with their own audiences. If you're wondering what creators are, it's a bit of a buzzword at the moment, but these are actors, models, musicians, multi-stream income, increasingly monetizing their audiences, working with brands, working with huge companies, but yet struggling to get any forms of financial support. The biggest problem for these guys is not actually getting work. It's chasing payments, it's managing all the admin that comes with running a business, and it's actually working safely. So actually through COVID, when I started this business, that's what we started to see, and there was a huge shift from these highly versatile creators that moved to digital income, a lot more brand partnerships. A lot of them struggled with all the stuff that comes with running a business instead of actually just being involved in doing what they love doing. And that's been the growth of the middle class creator, where people aren't just, it's not just Robert Downey Jr. and, Kim Kardashian making money from sort of brand partnerships these days. There's everyday individuals monetizing their assets online, and it's super interesting. It's really scaling. If you're wondering how big that economy is, put it this way, 54% of Generation Z are proactively trying to become creators, no longer just bankers and doctors anymore. The market's expected to be worth 35 billion in a few years' time. There's 50 million people currently working in it right now. And the interesting thing is it's horizontal. That means you can be a doctor and a creator and make money in both those ways. And we're finding that from our early user base, that there are those that belong to multiple economic groups in terms of what they do. There are those on our wait list that are game developers and actors. It's incredibly interesting. So what we're focusing on is the immediate usefulness to these guys. That's instant pay. My background is in finance and affiliation and growth marketing, and it's modernized invoice factoring, which is, I won't go into the details now, you can ask me in the questions, in terms of instantly liquidating their invoices for work that they've done already. In the future, we'll actually add on platform-driven revenue. That's things from royalties, affiliate platforms, and so on, but we want some density in a platform first. It's all powered by open banking, which means we have the hypothecation to what led to an event and also the post-event data as well. And we also in the future plan to launch a digital wallet and account for creators. I was formerly the head of acquisition for a really interesting e-money product, and we're also helping them with account management, stats contract templates, making sure they're working securely, which also helps us with our instant pay deal as well. So how are we doing? Well, we pre-registered 7,000 creators that have a combined audience of over 100 million individuals. I didn't spend any money to do this. I used utility as marketing. I surveyed 4,000 of them. I've put in £100,000 of my own money from previous successful ventures when I was 25. The reason why I created this is because I was in the same position of financial exclusion. I was making about 40 grand a month, but I couldn't get an invoice factored for 5 grand. It was kind of crazy. And we're revenue generating from day one. We've picked up quite a lot of traction in terms of users, but also in sort of media as well, without really trying. And we're currently just testing out what we're doing. Additionally, creators absolutely love what we're doing. I just got a text 20 minutes ago asking when we're going live with more users because they've got an invoice she wants paid instantly. And a lot of these guys want to provide it to their own communities. So based on that, we expect within 4 years, it probably sounds ridiculous, but I expect to be doing about 2.3 million in monthly revenue each month within the next 4 years. So my background, I've built...
Jacob, we have to move.
Oh, sorry. I'm really sorry. I had to jump in quickly, but we've got a great advisory team around us. a great team, and we're raising 150K right now. James Isolé, who's our founder, has put in, one of our advisors. He's the founder of the 9th biggest, best ranked startup on LinkedIn. He's led the round initially, and we've got another offer on the table to fill the. I'm currently negotiating, so I'm open to questions.
Jacob, yeah, let's go to questions.
Sorry, I had to jump through that quite quickly.
So what's the rate that you're charging to do this factoring? Is it based on industry, or and how are you managing the risk?
Yeah, it's all personalized and dynamic. It's actually risk-free pricing, so we're actually building the cost into each event. We use that through our data partners, and also we insure every single event that we take on. So we don't take on any sort of contract until we're able to insure through APIs. We pass on the risks as part of that dynamic model. The more we know about the creator, the more we know about the company which owes the money, the more we can personalize and discount, and we build in that sort of model to it. So, yeah.
And then, hi, it's Bindi here. Just to dig in a tiny bit, I'd love to learn a bit more about which platforms you're integrating into, because I know creator economy and NFTs are a hot word in this space as well. And,
to be honest,
but actually just wanted to understand the integrations, but then secondly, digging further into the fintech and how do you do credit on the invoice providers and then credit on the folks that are the creators. So I just want to really understand how you're really going deep into the open banking protocol and then the integration space.
Sure. So the first point is that we're not focusing on integrations to begin with. I believe that's a mistake. We're actually building the bridge. Currently, many of our users right now are still working on invoices. We want to grow with that. So once we have density, I want to then move into the royalties market, the affiliate platform side of things, where brand partnerships exist. Our initial user base are invoicing brands and agencies directly. When we have density, that's when we'll start the integrations. So secondly, there's actually it's not really credit. What we're actually doing is we're buying future revenue in invoice factoring. B2B invoice factoring is an unregulated activity, and that's what we're focusing on with. So we're not actually consumer lending. However, we are agent-based through our open banking protocols. So a user cannot do any form of instant pay event until they have connected their open banking account, until they verified KYC'd, till the other end of the party has actually confirmed this invoice exists. And then we're able, through some mechanic as well, confirming and doing bulk payments, we're able to then forward that money across, and it's recourse in the sense of loss. We're also ensuring that invoice in every sense as well. So,
and one quick supplemental: who's financing this right now? The invoices?
It's a special debt vehicle which is set up by us. So that's how we're doing it. Currently, right now, that special debt vehicle is me as we test. That's my personal money which we've set up aside. But the plan is to effectively get debt financing, which we build into the cost of each model. So that's the next phase. The next 10 months, so I didn't really manage to get there because I'm just trying to run through. I agreed to do this earlier today. What we're planning to doing is just proofing the concept. The people I used to work for were the former highest level of supply chain finance at Morgan Stanley. They're going to help us achieve that financing when we need it. But I've got enough capital.
I think we have time for one more question, Jen.
Cool.
What volume of a creator's income comes from non-platform B2B sources? Like, I mean, just because, yeah. So I'm actually curious.
So actually, that's my point. Well, it depends. If you look at creators as a whole, there's subsections to it. So you've got actors, and models, and so on and so on. So those aren't necessarily they're multi-stream. There are people that are on our platform signed up who are musicians that make money from royalties, but actually make £1,000 a post working with brands directly. Even though they're making it on Instagram, they're working with that brand offline. They're not getting paid through Instagram. So there's quite a significant amount through brand partnerships, agencies, and affiliation, which aren't platform driven. But that's where we're starting. We're just trying to build that bridge.
Is it time for one more question, Fedor, or that's it?
I think we've got to wrap up and go to the next round.
Sorry,
Jake, thanks so much. Thanks so much.
Would you let me leave the studio?
Yes. So our next guest is Wale Yusuf from Tally Talk. Oh, great.
Hi.
So
Very
we've
much.
got Wale Yusuf from Tally Talk. Wale, good to have you. Excited to hear you pitch.
Yeah, just checking if you can hear me, and I'll share my screen. Great. Just share. Great. Hi, my name's Wale, and I'm representing the Tech for Good early stage startup Tally. I'd like to kindly ask you to think back to a time in your life when you experienced emotional distress, but felt you couldn't confide in your friends or family due to a fear of judgment, a lack of empathy, or fear of the mental health stigma. Typically, you'd suggest seeing a therapist, of course. But therapists are far-fetched with expensive hourly costs and long-term commitments. The NHS has a 2-year therapy waiting list, and post-COVID-19, 500,000 people are estimated to experience mental illness. At Tally, we are the first line of defense, so you don't have to wait for the NHS or experience suicidal thoughts down the line. We provide a safe space to share experiences by anonymously connecting you, their audio on demand, to everyday people like you and I who have experienced the same challenges as you. And these are called group Tally Talks or peer-to-peer Tally Talks. We offer a freemium model with an annual subscription, which also allows you to earn an extra income while helping others. So it's a win-win. We found a way to improve retention on our platform. Our platform offers the Tally audio library, which means you don't have to experience emotional distress every week just to use our platform. You can also enjoy our platform by meditating and listening to motivational audio. The market is huge. In 2019, the NHS made 1.6 million referrals to talking therapies, and the global meditation market is estimated to reach 9 billion by 2027. Here's our business model. As mentioned earlier, we're running a freemium model, which means we're going to offer users 3 minutes on the free account with the option for them to upgrade to the premium account to connect to listeners and talk for longer. The landscape's pretty interesting. The space is currently fragmented with meditation apps such as Calm, therapy-focused apps such as BetterHelp, and apps that solely focus on single problems like depression. And those are great solutions, but there is no platform that allows you to speak about any problem with people that can actually relate to you, while also letting you enjoy some alone time through the Tally library. We have a good team with a company founded from the personal experience of the founders. Our team of 6 benefits from skills including counseling, software engineering, and marketing, with particular experiences from Disney, Cedars, and the United Nations. Now, down to the numbers. We have a growing community of 500 people. Ahead of our app launch, which is scheduled later this year, we are currently running Tally Talks manually through the Zoom platform, and this is how we have gained proof of concepts throughout 2020 and now. As Tally Talks are intimate and engaging, we currently cap the maximum number of participants at 25 people due to the capacity of the team. However, on the app, users will be able to host their own Tally Talks without limitations, hence providing scalability. We're asking for 500K, and this would go towards key hires, including the full-time, the founders going full-time, as we've done this with a part-time virtual team, which came together through lockdown. We'll also be launching our marketing campaign, and we'll be providing the 3 minutes to our users to get used to using the app, really. You've probably heard of the likes of Clubhouse and Calm and Talkspace. We are well positioned to be the next big thing in this wellbeing space. We gained idea validation when we won Techstars Weekend in November 2019, and we've gained proof of concept all through last year with 50 Tally Talks, each joined by roughly 25 participants. We now have a growing waiting list of 300 listeners who are beginning their listener training whilst ahead of joining our app. We have achieved all this, as mentioned, with a part-time team and volunteers. Imagine what we can do with a full-time team. Would you like an insight into what a Tally Talk is like? Check out our Tally Talk podcast on various topics. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. We'll go to the judges for questions.
How do you think about moderation and consistency of the user experience?
So just to clarify the question,
so it's peer-to-peer, right? Like, so it sort of depends on like who shows up in a room at a certain point in time. So one, how do you make sure that like nobody gets abusive or just like unhelpful on the one hand? And then on the other hand, how do you make sure that as people keep coming back to Tally, they don't have like a great experience one day and then a terrible experience the next day?
That's a very, very good question. It's one of the problems we wanted to solve immediately. So Tally is community regulated, which means, and I'll just go back to the right screen for you. After the member and the listener comes off a call, they both have the opportunity to rate each other. And just as on Airbnb, when you get a certain number of stars, your account is immediately flagged to us. And because it's community regulated and we know that our listener is essentially key to us, they have the power to vote for someone to be kicked off the platform. For our sign-up journey, we understand that some of our competitors suffer from trolls. So what we've done is we're only allowing people to sign up for a Tally account by using their mobile numbers rather than emails, which means it's a bit of a deterrence because it means it's harder for them to go out and buy a SIM card each time, if that answers the question.
And similarly, you mentioned training, the people to moderate these. How much is it costing you for the training, and what will you do if certain people get to be more popular than others? How's the compensation going to be structured?
So with the training, we've put a training program together, but it continually goes on through the life of your account on the app, because we know you just don't all of a sudden become the best listener in the world. So ahead of our app launch and connecting listeners to users, they're currently going through stage 1 of their training. And whilst they go through the app, we'd contact them every few months to go through stage 2, stage 3, and so on. And the latter part of your question, I believe, was on costs.
Yeah, how much is it going to cost per trained listener?
So we haven't calculated the minute details of the cost, but because they're able to do their training through the app, it's scalable in the sense that it wouldn't cost much to train each listener because they're simply prompted via a notification, which prevents them from speaking to more listeners if they haven't passed a certain stage at a certain time.
Wale, I saw from your deck that you match people with particular groups related to what problems they're facing. What are you doing to make sure that matching is appropriate and it's sort of, conscientious of the problem at hand?
Definitely. Another good question. So as you can see on this page I'm on, actually, when a member goes onto our platform, they select which strand they'd want to speak about, whether that be heartbreak, depression, grief, for example. And users, the listeners have already pre-selected the strands that they have experience in, right? And that's how we ensure that we tailor members and listeners as much as possible.
Just one other thing, Wale. So I actually used to work at Airbnb for a number of years, and happy to take you through separately some of the downsides of sort of reactive community moderation.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds great.
Brilliant. Wale, thank you so much. And really enjoyed hearing your pitch.
Great. Thank you for having us.
So our next founder is Jesse of Swapperby.
Hi guys, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me fine? Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. entire screen. Share. Okay, can everybody see the present? 1 second. Can everybody see my presentation? Yes, okay, great. Well, Swapabee was started by me in 2019. I know we all have this one drawer or cupboard or wardrobe in the house full of things we don't need, unused and unwanted items. Well, growing up in London with an African parent, we had 2 full rooms full of stuff we never needed. Yes, my mother was a hoarder. She kept everything. And growing up, I always thought these are things that someone else could need, or things that I probably needed. Like every time I've gone to the shop to ask for a computer game, we could have just swapped for these. The UK produces 31 million tons of waste each and every year. That's enough to fill 3.5 million double-decker buses and enough to go around the world 2.5 times. The USA produces 267 million tons of waste each and every year. Swapabee is a circular economy marketplace with a machine learning matching algorithm that matches users to what they need due to their location, preferences, and price estimation. Imagine if you were growing up and you wanted a new PlayStation game, but you had to go and ask your parents to buy it for you, or you had to save up the money to get it. Well, with Swapabee, you put your old game on our site and you swap it for another game. Or you can swap clothes, cars, anything you want. In the UK, mostly our students swap clothes and games, but in the USA, people have swapped cars for a boat, and we're becoming really, really popular. We have 6,000 users in the UK and USA. We have 70 volunteers across the UK and USA, 4 student ambassadors in the UK, 4 student ambassadors in the USA, and we're growing each and every day. We allow our users to list their items for free, the first 2 items. After this, the users pay a £1 listing fee per item. So we generally make £2 per swap, but this is on the version we have now. I'm asking you for investment of 150,000 so we can develop Swapabee 2.0. We've just signed a partnership agreement with the United States Postal Service in the USA, and we're in the process of signing an agreement with DPD in the UK, which will allow us to make around £3 or £5 per item shipped on our site. So instead of making £2 per swap, we will be making around £8 per swap, which is really beneficial for us. My advisors for this project have been the head of blockchain research for IBM, the head of marketing for Cardex, and vice president of new clients from EFG Bank. We hold community swap events. I forgot to do the slide, sorry. We hold community swap events at Glasgow University and Wolverhampton University, and also students at Wolverhampton University and Brighton University are writing their dissertation on what Swapabee can do for the planet. Our matching algorithm makes the swapping process 5 times faster than it's ever been. I mean, there's been swapping sites before, Gumtree, etc., but normally you list an item and you wait. With us, we match you directly with what you want and what you need due to your likes and preferences. And as I've already said, we already have 6,000 users with no investment at all. Why use Swapabee? Also, we donate 10% of our profits to charity, and they focus on environmental cleanups around the world. So not only are you getting rid of unused items and you getting new items, but you also donate a small fee to charity. At the moment, we make money from our swaps, but on the new version of the app, Swapabee 2.0, we will also make money from shipping and from advertisements. So not only are we going to clean up the planet, but we're also going to work with environmental logistic providers such as KUKA and DPD to make swapping and exchanging much more eco-friendly.
That's great, Jesse. We've got to move to questions now.
Hi, Jesse. Like you, I am also the son of people that love to hoard things, and my house is full of stuff. I was wondering if you could take me through some of the initial user metrics. So, like you said, there's 6,000 users, but sort of what are sort of your weekly swap rates, and what kinds of things are you seeing dominate those swaps at the moment, or what categories are being swapped more?
at the moment, most swaps are clothes and computer games, and we're getting around 600 swaps a month at the moment. However, some months it could be 1,000, some months it could be 600. Also, we're focusing on students and low-income areas at the moment. But in the USA, as I said, someone swapped a car for a boat. We did an advertisement with Trade Me Project. He did a video for us. It got 3.3 million views on TikTok, and someone swapped a car for a boat here.
How do you control for quality if somebody swaps something but they don't like what they swapped for?
We have a rating system, say Airbnb, so star system gets 5 stars, and the bad swap gets 1 star. And the person probably wouldn't get any new swaps. But so far, all good.
So can I dig a bit deeper into your deals with US Post and DPD? Yeah. Are these revenue shares or are they just distribution partnerships?
So we just signed a partnership here with USPS and Shippo in the USA, and they're going to give us a shipping API. So whenever our users want to send an item, they can download the shipping label direct, and we would make on a $5 shipping, we make like $2.50.
Okay, so it's a revenue generator for you.
Yep.
Okay, and then the other thing is, again, sort of following on from Srin's question on customer acquisition. It's great that you're saying, give me a pound or invite 2 people, but I just love to dig a bit more deeper into your customer acquisition strategy over the longer term?
Well, basically, in June 15th, we did a Swap B challenge, and we are going to be doing, it's basically a challenge where people swap clothes on the music, but we also have good partners such as Trade Me Project. Trade Me Project, she swaps from a bobby pin up to a house. She's on the car at the moment, and people who, she has 4.6 million followers in a year. So trading is really becoming popular. In the last year, there's 6 new trading sites, but most of them are only clothes. Somebody does everything, and I think, especially with the economic crisis which is about to happen, people are going to have less and less spending power, and they're going to want to swap for the items that they need.
I'm curious about how you think about community. Like this feels like this concept of circular economy feels like a movement of some sort. Like how do you build a community around this?
Well, the new version of the app, you're going to be able to follow friends. It's going to be more like a social platform and a marketplace. So you can follow your friends, see what they swap, which is a great idea. I think this is going to be really good for us. And you can put comments under pictures and say, hey, maybe you swap this and this for this. I think the eco-friendly community, the circular economy, the green community is really, really becoming more and more popular. And if look at countries like Sweden, where they have swap shops all around the country, or Amsterdam, even they've got swap shops all around the country. The UK and the USA are going to follow suit. They are following suit straight away. And the amount of users we have with no investment just shows that we have our MVP.
Great. I think we have time for one more question.
Is there a mismatch in the perceived value between products such that, like, there would be a way to fill in the value, or
So
have you thought about that? Would that facilitate a smoother marketplace?
When a user uploads his item, he adds they add a value themselves, and they match with swaps. But it's up to the user at the end of the day if they want to really want to go ahead. But I had this idea when I was working in Switzerland as a digital marketing manager, and I've worked around the world as a digital. I can work in English, Serbian, German, Yoruba. I work in 4 languages fluently. I'm really good at my job. The last companies I worked for made a couple million plus, and I really see the market for Swapabee. It's something which is growing without so much work. I don't really have to put in so much work. It grows by itself.
Have you seen a lot of swaps cross-border?
Cross-border, no. We have sites per country. Okay. We have swapabee.com for USA and swapabee.co.uk. UK.
So not yet.
Not yet.
That's great, Jesse. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed your pitch.
Thank you very much, guys. See ya.
Our next guest is KCG for Shimu.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to share screen right now. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay. Also, I would just like to take a moment and apologize for coming a little bit late. There was a time zone mismatch in communication. But aside from that, hi everyone, my name is Casey. I'm a first year undergrad at Yale University, and today I will be telling you about Simu. Have you ever looked at your closet and thought to yourself, wow, I have absolutely nothing to wear, even though your closet is almost bursting at the seams? Well, unfortunately, you're not alone. We were also interested in this problem, and we anonymously surveyed 50 women between the ages of 18 and 23 and found that 38.4% is the estimate of the percentage of clothing that these respondents thought they did not wear, which means that they wore it less than 5 times a year. And when we asked them why they didn't wear their unused clothing, 42 out of the 50 stated that the main reason was because the clothing either did not fit their size or it didn't fit their style. And if we're looking at a bigger scale, what this means is $460 billion worth of usable clothing is thrown away each year in the United States. There is a 36% decrease in the average number of times a garment is being worn before it ceases to be used compared to 15 years ago. So here at Simu, what we propose is the solution, a platform where people can refashion their unused clothing so that it fits their size, it fits their style, and it also fits their budget. So what does that look like? Well, how it would work is this. You look at your closet, you choose a piece that you normally don't wear, whether that be because it's not your size anymore, it's not your style anymore, or perhaps there's some sort of defect with the clothing, i.e. there's a stain or there's a tear or whatever. In my case, I chose this beautiful trench coat. It even has the tag on it. Using our software, you scan your piece of clothing. We will use surface area calculations to determine what kind of transformations we can do on your clothing. You then select the transformation you would like to purchase, and you receive a prepaid shipping label. In my case, I chose this lovely mini skirt. You then ship your clothing to us at headquarters. We alter it for you, and we ship it back to you. And it's like you have a brand new piece of clothing, although you have not created, no fabric was created. And we're actually reducing the amount of clothing clutter you have in your closet. So what we're looking at here is a $2 billion alterations market. And what's unique about Simu is that we're not only providing ease and customizability to the customer by allowing them to decide their own transformations, but we're also helping reduce the waste of fast fashion and incorporating tailors. So in terms of our competition, what we're looking at here are 3 general categories. First are thrift stores, because when people think about the amount of clothes that are just piling up in their closet, their first thought is most likely to donate it to thrift stores. We're helping them save a trip to that donation site, and we're also combating the 80% of clothing that's going straight to the landfill that starts in the donation store. We're also competing against fast fashion because the cheap prices of fast fashion is the main reason why people purchase. But unfortunately, most of the pieces that people cite as not fitting their size or fitting their style are actually fast fashion pieces. Where our prices, we hope, will be as comparable to that of fast fashion. And because we're providing alterations to clothing that already exist, we're helping reduce the amount of environmental and ethical problems that are associated with fast fashion. And finally, we're competing against your traditional alteration services. So these are local tailors and local seamstresses. But because we're using technology, we're taking the hassle out of tailoring appointments. You just have to scan your clothing, and then we can help you decide how we can change it to best suit your needs. So we are currently in the customer discovery phase, and what we believe is our target audience are college students / young professionals. But we can also we also believe there might be a potential market among established professional women, because high-end business attire can be very costly, and we could apply our alterations to high-end products such as those. But that's not to say we don't have.
Casey, that's great, but we've got to go to questions.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Thank you so much.
And so my question is this concept test, like, have you already started doing transformations to show the use case?
Yes. I'm currently doing alterations on my own clothes, and we are actually in the process of interviewing potential users. We are a part of SciCity's Launchpad, which is kind of like an accelerator program, but for ideas in the ideation phase at Yale University. And we're receiving a lot of mentorships and advice from that program. But this summer, I'm hoping to finally get the first step in with this kind of go-to-market plan I have on the screen.
Just from a product experience, so if I understood correctly, you're focusing on like transformation of clothes, which feels like a tall order and like something that requires a lot of work per piece. Why not making your life easier and just focusing on just like regular alteration? Like I bought whatever pants in the store and like they need to be altered, and I love the service where I can like just send it, and then you can standardize that and do a lot of those. You can standardize the pricing, you can standardize the effort.
That's a great question. We have considered that. I think the main reason why we haven't actively looked in that area is simply because a lot of tailoring requires in-person measuring and in-person very technical information that you wouldn't be able to obtain through something like some sort of form or scanning. We have created basically what are like standardized templates or patterns for the clothes that we are, the alterations we're providing. And that eliminates some of the guesswork, but that is an endeavor we hope to look into more down the line.
So what is going to happen when you start to look at like 1 million alterations at scale? Have you kind of thought that far ahead, and the time it's going to take? I just really like to understand what happens when you do get to a large size, because actually it's interesting. It's a real problem. I'm a professional businesswoman, and I do alter a lot, and I do change things, and I'm best friends with my Arab tailor down the road. So I do this already on a one-to-one basis. So I'd like to understand on scale how you think you can manage this.
Oh, yes. So we are actually looking into, in terms of scaling, what we really would like to do is to provide some sort of service that is kind of like Uber for tailors, in a sense that we connect people with local tailors so that we can reduce the supply side costs in terms of shipping. And just having like local partnerships would aid those tailoring businesses as well. That has been a big concern for us, and is actually why we're pitching, or why I'm pitching today, is we're actually hoping to seek advice from partners that have scaled operations in supply side and also in fashion and sustainability. Because what we're really hoping to do here is to eliminate the amount of, like, offset our carbon dividends that are caused when we do shipping. So essentially, we're hoping to collaborate with more local traditional altering services.
That's great. I think we're out of time here. Casey, thank you so much. Really enjoyed hearing your pitch. So I think the next stage is for us, for the judges to deliberate. We'll be deliberating and trying to figure out whose pitch we liked the most. So please stay tuned.
We live in a world where more than 500 million entrepreneurs will never get access to the feedback, networks, and capital they may need to realize their dreams. Talent is distributed evenly, but opportunity isn't. Founder Tribes exist to change that. Our mobile app can be accessed by anyone, anywhere in the world. It all begins with a founder submitting a pitch that will be evaluated by a community of entrepreneurs and investors relevant to their vertical and stage. Through the app, each founder gets qualified feedback about which areas of their business might need improvement, in the form of how many people swiped right or left, and in the form of ratings on each key element of a business plan based on Sequoia Capital's evaluation system. Each founder is then offered a personalized selection of video tips from world-class founders who explain how they've overcome similar challenges. Our professors are truly world-class and include such names as Stacey Abrams, Steve Blank, Jen Wong, and Anne Wojcicki. If a founder wants more support, she can access our curated database of coaches and mentors and set up one-to-ones, all via the app. Each founder iterates her pitch until the community of entrepreneurs and investors say that she is investment worthy. We'll then introduce her to relevant funders appropriate to her stage and vertical, including venture capital, angels, and alternative finance. We already have paying customers, including Capital Enterprise. And our investors include American unicorn founders such as Sander Daniels, founder of Thumbtack, which has raised $436 million from Sequoia Capital and Google, Zach Bookman, founder of OpenGov, who has raised $140 million from investors including Andreessen Horowitz, executives like Jamie Broderick, who is the former head of wealth management at UBS UK and Jersey, and Dana Wagner, who is currently the chief legal officer at Impossible Foods, which has raised $1.4 billion from investors like Serena Williams, Katy Perry, and Jay-Z. We are leveling the playing field for entrepreneurial talent. So download the app, accelerate your business, and empower yourself. We live in a world where more than 500 million entrepreneurs will never get access to the feedback, networks, and capital they may need to realize their dreams. Talent is distributed evenly, but opportunity isn't. Founder Tribes exist to change that. Our mobile app can be accessed by anyone, anywhere in the world. It all begins with a founder submitting a pitch that will be evaluated by a community of entrepreneurs and investors relevant to their vertical and stage. Through the app, each founder gets qualified feedback about which areas of their business might need improvement, in the form of how many people swiped right or left, and in the form of ratings on each key element of a business plan based on Sequoia Capital's evaluation system. Each founder is then offered a personalized selection of video tips from world-class founders who explain how they've overcome similar challenges. Our professors are truly world-class and include such names as Stacey Abrams, Steve Blank, Jen Wong, and Anne Wojcicki. If a founder wants more support, she can access our curated database of coaches and mentors and set up one-to-ones, all via the app. Each founder iterates her pitch until the community of entrepreneurs and investors say that she is investment worthy. We'll then introduce her to relevant funders appropriate to her stage and vertical, including venture capital, angels, and alternative finance. We already have paying customers, including Capital Enterprise. And our investors include American unicorn founders such as Sander Daniels, founder of Thumbtack, which has raised $436 million from Sequoia Capital and Google, Zach Bookman, founder of OpenGov, who has raised $140 million from investors including Andreessen Horowitz, executives like Jamie Broderick, who is the former head of wealth management at UBS UK and Jersey, and Dana Wagner, who is currently the chief legal officer at Impossible Foods, which has raised $1.4 billion from investors like Serena Williams, Katy Perry, and Jay-Z. We are leveling the playing field for entrepreneurial talent. So download the app, accelerate your business, and empower yourself.
Great. So this was a tough one. I have to say it was a lively debate. Judges kind of had their favorites and fought for them. But the winner of Founder Tribe's second tribal pitch is Swapperby. Jesse of Swapperby. We felt you did an incredible job in articulating your vision for the company. And just we
I'm so surprised.
we could how plugged in you were, and how the circular economy could just take off as a movement. But I have to say it was a great job by all founders and all the pitches, and it was a lively debate and a tough one to decide.
Can I say something, please?
Yes, please.
I want to just say to all the founders that tried, especially for me as a Black founder or ethnic founders, it's so hard. It's so hard. I've been trying for so long, and you get no's every day. It's not my first pitch session. Some are good, some are bad, but just keep trying. Never give up. I'm never going to give up too.
I love it. I love it. Wendy, do you have something to say from the Founder Tribe team?
So just on behalf of the entire founder, my name is Wendy Maldonado D'Amico. I am part of the Founder Tribes team, customer lead for, community lead for the United States. And I just wanted to thank all of our competitors today who threw their hat into the ring, made it to the finals. I wanted to actually name each of our finalists very briefly, as well as our judges for today, to thank everybody for participating. So Jesse, I wanted to congratulate you again for your position as a winner today. We will be in touch with you to match you up with some introductory meetings for investors, as well as a mentor. We also wanted to thank Pierce Jarrett of Guan. We wanted to thank Casey Shia of Simu, Wale Yusuf of Tally Talk, and Jake Casson of Monet. Thank you so much for competing today. And finally, I wanted to thank our judges, Bindi Karia of Draper Esprit, Rustin Brown of Manatt, Phelps and Phillips, Matt Turck of FirstMark, Srin Madipalli, Atomico Angel, and Jen Wong of Reddit. This would not have happened without you. And finally, I would like to thank our co-sponsor, Supreme Factory, for being such a wonderful producer of our events today. So on behalf of the entire Founder Tribes team, thanks to all of you. For those of you tuned in, we are going to host another Tribal Pitches event on May 27th. So if you want to get those pitches, start to sharpen those up and get those uploaded onto our app, that would be great. And just stay tuned for more information on the third Tribal Pitches, May 27th. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of the day. And congratulations to Swapperby.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Is there anything next, or do we leave?
I think we might hear from Gary, the CEO of Founder Tribes.
Okay. Hey guys, thank you so much for picking me. I really appreciate it. It's been a really difficult last couple of months. It's been ridiculous. I mean, we won the Collective Impact Accelerator with Virgin and Crowdcube from 200 companies. They picked 8, and one day before they're supposed to start, they said no. I'd already told the whole team, so I've had a bad couple months, and thank you. You made my day.
Keep going. It's an inspiring vision.
Yeah, your hard work is definitely paying off, and your charisma. You have the presence of a CEO and a great idea, and you're definitely following the market, which is very nascent, but you seem to be plugged into it very well.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it for today. Thank you everybody for listening. As Wendy said, we want to thank our judges. Want to thank Jesse and all the other founders who participated, and most importantly, thank you, the listeners. And stay tuned for the next session of Founder Tribes. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care. See ya.